Welcome to The Younger You, everyone. This is a brand new season of our fantastic show where we get to follow the procedures, surgically and non-surgically, of our patients. Plus, you get to meet some incredible surgeons along the way. So let's kick it off. Today, we're talking all about the post-weight loss makeover, and we're going to hear an incredible story, everyone, and our patient, she's Brittany. But first of all, I would like to introduce you to board-certified plastic surgeon, Dr. Henry Wells. Welcome to the show, my friend.
It's great to be here.
Thanks for kicking it off, and we have such a show lined up. You hear about these incredible journeys of people who have lost a huge, and I mean a huge amount of weight, and then what are they left with?
Well, what happens is they lose volume, but the skin is still there.
Yeah.
And it creates problems with contour of their abdomen and arms and legs, and we put together a series of surgical procedures that will correct those contours.
I just want to break it down between men and women, okay? Now we know what we're about to see is, on Brittany, we've done several operations to remove the excess skin. Is it similar operations for men in the same situation?
In many ways it is,
okay,
because we do leg surgery, we do arm surgery, we do the trunk surgery. In women, we may do a breast augmentation,
okay,
but in men, we may do a breast reduction.
Really?
So there's still the possibility of doing breast surgery.
Okay, well, here's the most important thing. Talk us through the surgeries you actually performed.
Well, the first surgical procedure we did was a lower body lift, and that is a circumferential removal of skin from the torso. In addition to that, we also tighten up the abdominal muscles. It's sort of like pulling up your pants and tucking in your shirt, so to speak.
Okay.
And the second surgical procedure was brachioplasty, which is reduction of skin in the arms. And I do a procedure known as an extended brachioplasty, where I extend that incision down the lateral chest to take out the excess of the back skin.
Yep.
And then we also did a breast lift and breast augmentation.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how many surgeries in total?
Well, that's two surgical procedures, but there are multiple parts of those surgical procedures.
Okay. All right. So these weren't done all on the same day, obviously.
We did the lower body lift, and the second set of surgical procedures were the brachioplasty, breast lift, and augmentation, and the lateral skin excision.
Okay. I want to really ask you an honest question, if I may. When people have lost a dramatic amount of weight, their expectations when they come to see you, do you feel they are extremely high or they sort of undergrade it? You know, like, because when you're having that amount of skin taken away, are they expecting to see bigger results, or what do you do to go through that?
Well, the first thing is that they want to get rid of this extra skin, because they've lost all this weight and they're not where they want to go. They're not there yet, and they come to us to try to get where they want to go. Now, I have to explain to them the different steps that are involved and guide them through this process. And so there will be ups and downs along the way, but the end result should be something that they're very happy with.
Were there any concerns when it came to Brittany?
The same concerns I would have with anybody who's going to have a series of very complex surgical procedures. We want to make sure everything goes well and that we don't have any problems, and we try to do it as safely as possible. Okay,
so let's talk a little bit about downtime, because I think that's super important, because you were saying that you don't have to have it all done at once. So if we're doing the stomach area to begin with, how much time would people expect to have off from work?
For a lower body lift, we tell them a minimum of 3 weeks off work and 6 to 8 weeks before they can do any kind of vigorous physical activity.
Yeah. When it comes to scarring, what happens if you're unhappy with the scarring?
Well, we can always do a scar revision if there's a bad scar. But unfortunately, we cannot make a scar disappear.
Right. So do the patients feel that they understand that there's definitely going to be scarring?
Yeah.
But do they conceive that it'll be circumference all the way around the body? Do they quite understand that?
Well, we show them pictures.
Yeah.
They know exactly what this is going to look like before we do it.
Okay.
But they would easily trade all that skin for those scars. I mean, it's a no-brainer for them.
I think it's quite an emotional conversation to have, because if you've lost that amount of weight, okay, and now you're about to have a full body makeover. I want to ask you, what questions do you ask them about their clinically state of mind? Is that part of the conversation when they come and see you?
We do try to make sure that they're prepared for the procedure.
Yeah.
And I do tell them that this is not something that's going to happen overnight. This is going to be a long, drawn-out process. And this particular makeover took a year to complete.
Yeah.
And I always tell my patients, if they're going to have a big surgical procedure, that they're going to have a period after the surgery where they're going to have depression. It's just a part of the healing process. It takes a lot of energy out of you, and some people do get somewhat depressed.
Dr. Wells, always incredible information. But next, after the break, everyone, will meet Dr. Eric Smith, general and bariatric surgeon, who actually did the gastric sleeve, and you're going to meet Brittany. Like us on Facebook and join in on the conversation. It's now time to meet Dr. Eric Smith, General and Bariatric Surgeon from Georgetown Bariatrics and Advanced Surgical Services, who performed the gastric sleeve procedure.
I did Brittany's surgery back in June of 2015. Probably met Brittany, I would guess, around 5 or 6 months prior to that. And the one thing that I really remember about Brittany, she was a pretty shy girl. She didn't talk a whole lot. And we'll see that sometimes. You know, unfortunately, sometimes when patients come to see us to have this surgery, they sometimes feel defeated, which is unfortunate. I remember specifically, the more I got to know Brittany, that she really opened up and really admitted to us that we were the first medical team that really, she said, treated her like a human being. But I remember her opening up to me and admitting that she had battled with that and was very thankful that we didn't treat her that way.
Alrighty, everyone, let's meet Brittany.
Well, at one point, I weighed 387 pounds. I think a lot of lifestyle and just a lot of hereditary. A lot of my family are overweight. We ate a lot of unhealthy things, and do I think the portion control part of it was some of it? Yeah.
It caused her to not want to do things that normal people do.
Initially, it was the number on the scale for me. I didn't realize I was that big. I knew I was overweight, and I knew that the number was big, and I knew that I couldn't go to the doctor and tip the scale at 400. I couldn't imagine what it would be like to see that number.
When in battling obesity for most of her life, you know, many times she felt like she was treated differently, and she felt like that many people just looked at her as if she did that to herself. And we unfortunately see that a lot from patients, you know, and it's not the case. Obesity is a disease.
After her dad passed away, it turned on a light switch. She said enough was enough, and you know, we had to do something different.
He died in February of 2014. He passed away because his heart gave out. And obviously it was because he was overweight himself and just didn't take care of himself, and he had diabetes. It wasn't as if what's gonna happen to me, it's when is it gonna happen. The following January is really when I started saying, okay, hey, it's time to decide now or never. I gave myself an ultimatum of losing 50 pounds before summer, and if I couldn't do that on my own, I would seek help. Once I went to the doctor for help, there was no stopping me. I was gonna do it. I knew that it was time, and I was ready to make a change. I had researched on the internet, and Georgetown was the first place that came up because it was a center of excellence, and because I didn't know anybody personally that had had weight loss surgery, I just automatically thought, well, if I'm gonna go somewhere, I ought to go to the best place possible.
We sat down and talked to Dr. Smith and his team, and I just felt at ease knowing that, you know, my wife was in good hands.
We treated her like she'd always wanted to be treated. And as we saw her go through her journey, she went through a big transformation.
He goes over all of the options that you have and the risk and benefits to all of them, and then he advises what he thinks will work best for you, and then he lets you choose. It's never, you have to do this one because I say so. I chose the sleeve because I felt like it was the best one for me. Obviously, they take out a big portion of your stomach, so it's really an internal portion control. But after researching and everything, you learn that it's not just the tool that does it, that you have to change. It's not easy Does my surgery decide that I put chicken instead of a burger? No. It's a lifestyle change though, so it's not that I had this surgery and it was some quick fix. It was Dr. Smith gave me this tool and I ran with it. So I changed the way I eat, I changed my activities. Do I still enjoy a piece of cake or some French fries? Absolutely. But it's not every day, every meal now as before.
She became much more outgoing, confronted a lot of issues that she had battled with, throughout her life, and had the courage to kind of take those on. And I think that was probably as rewarding to watch that happen as much as watching the scale change.
I never want to go back to the girl I used to be. The harsh reality of that is always in the back of your head, because you can gain the weight back. Just because you have surgery doesn't mean it's gone forever. I know that I'm gonna be different and that I'm no longer gonna have to tuck that skin into something. And so just knowing that that skin is gonna be gone, and it's like the last leg of my journey so that I can truly start living who I am now. I just want to continue doing all the things that the scale told me I couldn't do.
When we come back, everyone, it's time to watch Dr. Wells perform his magic. For more information on The Younger You or to rewatch this episode and others, head over to theyounger.you.tv. Brittany has spent most of her life overweight. Let's watch as Dr. Wells performs Brittany's transformation.
Well, Brittany, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
Now we are 8 weeks out from your surgery. How are you feeling?
I'm doing good.
We did quite a bit of surgery during that time. I think we removed around 20 pounds of tissue. And we tightened up your skin, and we tightened up your abdominal muscles. You have an incision that goes all the way around, and that means you've had quite a few changes.
Yeah.
The next thing we're going to do are the breasts and the arms. We'll be doing a breast lift, we'll be doing a breast augmentation, and when we do that, we'll be removing excess skin and tissue from the breast, lifting the breast, raising the nipple, making the skin envelope smaller, and at the same time, we're going to use an implant to maintain the shape of the breast and the profile of the breast. When we do that, we will also be removing skin from your arms, and that incision will go from your elbow down the side of your arm, and it'll join the incision for the breast, so that the incision will be in continuity all the way around under the breast. And that way we can take out a little bit of skin under the arm as well and get some of that, which is a nice thing to do. That's not going to be the end of our project, but it's certainly a great intermediate step for us. Do you have any questions about that?
No, I'm just excited for the next step, because now that the stomach area is so much better, I'm starting to notice other areas more. And so I'm excited to just take the next step.
This is not just an operation, it's a process, and it involves a lot of different steps, and you've been really patient and good so far, and I know you're going to get a great result.
The following footage contains actual surgical procedures. It may be too graphic for some viewers.
One of the things that you're dealing with when you're doing multiple surgical procedures is you are shifting around a lot of tissue, and you have to take that into account with each step of the procedure. This is a solution of saline, local anesthetic, and epinephrine, and it keeps the skin edges from bleeding when we make our incision. We use this for just about all of our procedures where we're making skin flaps. And it's a long-lasting anesthetic that'll still be around when she wakes up, so that helps. For this portion of the procedure, we're going to be using liposuction, but not only liposuction, it's a power-assisted liposuction machine that causes the power, makes the tip vibrate back and forth, and it takes the fat out much quicker than it would be if I were doing it by hand. And here we go. And now I'm going to turn the tip on so it vibrates, and that makes it go much smoother. And you can see the fat coming out through the tube as I do this. And I'm only doing this in the skin that we're going to be removing. What we're doing with this is creating a plane of dissection by removing the fat, the deep fat of the forearm. And once we do that, you'll see that we can just lift this skin off and almost just pull it right off once we incise the skin. It's a great way of doing this, and it's very efficient. What we're going to be doing is we're going to make an incision here, and that will come down here, and we'll take out quite a bit of skin in this area when we do that. There you go, there you go. Okay, we have taken the skin off of the arm, which is this skin, and now we're taking the skin off of the lateral off of the chest. Okay, now we're going to put some sutures in the edge of this flap that contains the breast to keep the breast from being pulled to the side of the chest when we raise this flap up. Okay, now I've gotten under the pectoralis muscle, and I'm developing the pocket to put the implant in. Open the 605 cc silicone gel implant. And I don't think we need to do the lift. The implant is in good position. It's a nice size for her. When we put it in there, it's stretched out the lower pole of the breast enough to where it looks appropriate. Okay, we're putting a purse string suture in the skin around the nipple, which will, when we tighten it, will move the nipple up. It kind of lifts it. The circular incision I've made here is eccentric to the circle around the areola.
So it's going to take this.
It's going to move it up.
And squeeze it down to that.
I think that we have done just about all of the different surgical procedures that we could do to get her where she needed to be. We did the lower body lift, we did the arm lift, we did the breasts, we did the legs, and the last thing we did was to remove skin from the sides to give her a nice narrow waist. The last time I saw her, I can't think of anything I would change at this point in time.
After this short break, it'll be time to see Brittany's final results. Alrighty everyone, it's the favourite time of the show where I get to show you all the before and afters. Take a look. You've just seen your before and afters, my friend. How do you feel?
I feel amazing.
Do you?
Yes.
What do you see when you see those before pictures?
I just remember how hopeless I felt and how life was such a struggle.
Why do you say a struggle?
Because when weight is not something that you can control, then life just tells you the things that you can and can't do. So even though you physically could maybe be able to do something, there's a weight limit on a ride or a seat or the furniture you buy at home.
Is this the type of conversation you hear all the time, Dr. Wells, when you're doing these type of procedures?
Well, yes. Yes, it is. It's very touching as well.
You get to be the person at the end of the weight loss journey that gives them a whole new body.
It's very gratifying for me to be able to be part of this journey and to help her along the way.
Yeah.
It takes quite a lot out of her to go through all that. But to be able to guide her through that and come to an outcome that she is happy with is one of the most rewarding things I can do.
Are you happy?
Yes. He helped me to see the person that I was underneath all that skin.
Who was that person?
It's me.
Okay.
And that's one of the the big things about losing the skin is it was truly allowing me to now live how I've wanted to live, but maybe wouldn't have tried the short hair or the colored hair because I was ashamed of the skin. Although I was proud of losing the weight that gave me the skin, that was a whole new battle that it gave me.
What do you most look forward to now?
to moving on to living my life that isn't about dieting or weight loss or anything like that. Just living my life and doing what makes Brittany happy.
People are sitting at home watching, thinking, you don't get fat from not eating. She's only got herself to blame. And now we know that's not true. We know that by doing the gastric sleeving that you did, how did it come about for that conversation to begin with?
I just kind of had tried dieting on my own, and I gave myself 6 months to lose 50 pounds, and I decided that although asking a doctor for help was not one of the things on my list to do, that it was time to. And so when I didn't lose 50 pounds, I just made a seminar appointment and decided that once I was there and had done the seminar, there was no going back.
Mind was made up.
Yeah.
All right, everyone's sitting at home wondering, would you do it all over again?
Absolutely.
What does that say?
That's wonderful.
You're brilliant, Dr. Wells. I'm not saying go and put on the weight and then go through it, but I think you're obviously emotional about it because it's finally the end of a journey. Can you grasp that feeling that I'm done?
I think finally once the world sees my journey, then it'll feel done and I can realize that. Because up until this point, it's always like, oh, preparing for the next surgery or something like that. And so I'm excited to see where life takes me.
What do you say to someone like Dr. Wells who did all this amazing surgery on you?
Well, I could never thank you enough.
Well, I tell you, she had a lot to do with it as well. This is not just what I do, but the patient has a lot to do with it, and her family and support system has a lot to do with it. It takes a team effort to do this.
Why is that upsetting you?
Because he changed my life. Plastic surgery is very expensive. And, my sleeve was self-pay because my insurance didn't cover it. So I knew that plastics would be on me as well. And so it just didn't seem like it would be possible.
Well, it is, it was, and it will continue to be possible. We just love that you showed our audience what is possible by standing up and showing the courage and going through a year of surgery. It's incredible. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Dr. Wells, I just think you're amazing. Thank you for starting off the season with me. Thank you for showing the people out there what is possible. Appreciate all of you. Well, it really goes to show no matter what challenges you face in life, if you put your mind to something like Brittany did, the universe will deliver the hope and a healthier future just for you. For more information about the show, please visit our website at theyoungeryou.tv, and I'll see you next week. Next week on The Younger You, we're learning why Kelly decided to replace her saline breast implants with silicone ones. Plus, Shelby receives the infamous Brazilian butt lift.